Let's give a round of applause for another goddamn Gauntlet Legend covered on the analysis. It's the 32nd analysis and we're on the 6th Gauntlet Legend. That's actually about average, so I don't have permission to whine. Anyways, this week we're covering the quote-unquote rushed legend, Caspian. I say that because it's sorta true. He was a bit of a rushed legend for release, making him not fit super well into the game at first. Hell if I'd know about that, I wasn't playing whenever he was released. But he's found his way into being a goofball character that's surprisingly really damn annoying to fight. For me anyways. I don't see Gauntlet or Qatar mains really playing Caspian either unless they actually made him. But Caspian is definitely a slept on legend. Not as much as other legends, but people would rather play other Qatar or Gauntlet legends over Caspian. Let's take a look at what I think are some extremely busted SIGs. Gauntlet Insig gives me huge Sidra Cannon Insig vibes, and it just makes me scared. For how much I love sitting on the edge of a stage using it to come back up, it's actually really annoying to deal with. And trust me, that's not the only SIG I'll say that about. Gauntlet Side SIG isn't too strong, but it definitely isn't weak. It sends enemies the opposite way and has really strong force for some reason. Seriously, why is the force so strong? Gauntlet Down SIG I have to say is probably Caspian's worst SIG. I think it's good for edge guarding and you probably use it as a wake up or to catch someone trying to approach real quick, but I don't know. All of Caspian's other SIGs are so strong, this one looks weak when compared to them. Like his Qatar SIGs. These are some of the most busted SIGs I've seen in a while. Qatar Insig just covers so much above you. It has some blind spots in between the guitars, but that doesn't really matter since the blind spots are too small, so you'll end up getting hit. He also recovers really fast from the SIG for how good it is, considering it covers in an angle guitars don't cover too well. I personally think it needs more recovery frames, but that's just me. Side SIG is also really freaking good. It reminds me a lot of Artemis's Lance Side SIG, but not as good. That doesn't mean it's bad at all though. I feel like it kills way too early for how far it goes, and it's really easy to hit too. Now Qatar Down SIG. Oh, Qatar Down SIG. This SIG, just like his other two Qatar SIGs, is broken. But this one is way more broken. It has way too much force just like the rest of his Qatar SIGs. The area it hits in is way too good, and he can recover from the SIG quicker than any of his other SIGs. If we're nerfing Caspian at all, it's definitely this SIG. Turn the force down, recovery frames up, all that good stuff. This SIG is seriously way too rewarding for how many upsides it has. If I had to go with which weapon is better for Caspian, I'd have to say Qatars. His SIGs are definitely much better on Qatars. Now, looking at Caspian's skins, he has some good ones and some not so good ones, as most legends do. Ace's High Caspian, Immortal Caspian, and Plague Knight are in God tier. The first two have badass weapons along with looking fantastic, and Plague Knight is one of my two favorite characters from Shovel Knight. Yep, not even going to add anything else. Skipping straight to average, we have Nightcap and All City. I think these released with Caspian, and they're just okay in my opinion. Nothing too crazy stands out about them to me. Although they're still better than Med tier with Harley Quinn Caspian and Fortune Hunter. These ones are definitely a tier under average as they just overall look worse. Then Get Out tier we have Diamond Head. Diamond Head is one of the few crossovers that I think are just absolutely horrible. The SIG effects are boring, he doesn't look that good, and in the end I'd rather just play as Caspian. Tier list wise, out of S, A, B, C, and D, I'd place Caspian in S tier. People might argue that Caspian's one of the worst legends, but I have to heavily disagree. It doesn't matter if he has Qatars and Gauntlets, two close range weapons, that doesn't change how strong the weapons are. Qatars are actually about balanced right now, considering they got massive nerfs the last few patches, and Gauntlets are without a doubt S tier. Although with his over the top great SIGs, that's why I place him in S tier. Those aren't the only reasons though, as Caspian has good stats too. 7 attack, 5 dex, 4 defense, and 6 speed. He has the high attack, which is why he kills so early. 5 dex, perfect for Qatars, and 6 speed, which is a pretty good amount of speed. Although the low defense might be a small issue. I can see just two stances working, defense and attack. Defense takes out of attack, leaving you balance, and attack takes out of speed, which also isn't a bad choice. If you go with 7 speed, you're left with 4 dex, which isn't good for Qatars, and I'm actually not too sure how good 6 dex is for Qatars or Gauntlets. But that also leaves you with 3 defense. So attack or defense stance is the way to go in my opinion. And I can't say his play rate is criminally low either. It's definitely under the average, but he hasn't been left in the dust like a certain other Gauntlet legend. But I don't know, I feel like people are definitely sleeping on Caspian, just because every other Gauntlet legend is just better. Whether their weapon combo goes better together, or they're just overall stronger. I also feel like people won't admit that Caspian is this strong for whatever reason. Trust me, with good stats, strong weapons, OP SIGs, you won't go wrong with playing Caspian. But yeah, there are definitely some better picks if you're playing Gauntlets. As for Qatars, you might actually want to go with Caspian. I think he's the current best one. Either way, that wraps it up for this analysis. Although, don't go spreading around the word about Caspian being good. I don't want to see any more Caspian players for how good he is. Just the thought of it makes me shiver. Either way, feel free to keep suggesting legends, although I think next week I'm sensing another Lance analysis. Haven't had that since the third analysis. Thanks for watching, and of course, keep on brawling.